How's it going, everybody? I'm the BTCReaper, and my goal on this channel is to teach you how to reap the rewards of trading, whether the price is going up or down. Over on Dixie for the daily, it does look like the MPP does say we could still push up, but the higher probability is getting stopped out and making a lower high. We did already make a higher high compared to back here, so that could give us some bullish momentum. Keep that in mind. If we stay above this support level, then we could continue forward and fill that lower probability. Stochastic does look like it could start to round. RSI is flat. VWAP is starting to pull back. Money flow is starting to pull back as a result of the VWAP breaking down and momentum starting to round. Over on our 1 hour, we have a lot of consolidation here. Did not mean to move that. So we have a lot of consolidation. You might be able to draw some sort of a symmetrical triangle here. Those are a 50-50 pattern. But it would be a bull pendant as well, because you'd have this break up. And if you make a symmetrical triangle after break up, you have a bull pendant that can continue you forward, much like a bull flag would. But if you're getting one from a breakdown, so if this was a push down, then we made a symmetrical triangle, then you would have a bear pendant, which would act more like a bear flag. And you'd have that big pull as your breakup point as where you would pull back. Our stochastic does want to round. RSI is starting to push down. VWAP is favoring bearish, causing that momentum to drop, and money flow is in the red. If this continues, it's likely we could break away and see lower probabilities. Our MPP does say there is a possibility of bouncing, but it gives a higher probability of continuing to make lower highs here. And if we continue making lower highs and lower lows, then we could break down. If we continue to kind of sandwich here, go sideways, we might make a little bit of a bull flag here. We did get a mini run up, so that's where we could see that 108. I would watch that VWAP very close though. That VWAP starting to reject, that would give you more bearish momentum. Watch that VWAP close. Remember, that's why you want to use multiple things when you're trading. Don't just look at one piece of the puzzle. So over on Bitcoin our dominance for the daily, we are continuing up, but we still have the possibility to make a lower high. Ideally, we make a lower high, continue down, and then make a lower low. That would be ideal because Bitcoin could still gain with dominance weakening, but our altcoins could finally make that run up, and we need this dominance to kind of taper off if those altcoins are going to get an alt season. Stochastic does want to push up, RSI is pushing forward, VWAP is gaining strength, and the money flow does want to bounce, so watch lower time frames. The 1 hour VWAP is trying to break that neutral. Watch if it can break through and hold. If it can, we could continue further, push up to that point control right around 60%, possibly making a higher high, and then continuing forward. But if we see that VWAP make a rejection, that's where we could see that lower high and then continue down to our value area low right around that 57.5 and then possibly continue lower. So over on total for the daily, we do have potential for this to be a bearish continuation. We have lower highs and lower lows. They don't connect very well, so that could continue to break us down. If we break the support level of our 936, I would watch that 749 as there is an 87% chance of pulling back in that range. RSI does want to pull back, stochastic is rounding, money flow is starting to sell off, VWAP is starting to break down, and momentum is dropping. So over on the 1 hour here, we do look like our MPP says there's a 50-50 chance of pushing up or pushing down. So we could make a lower high and then reject, or we could make a higher high. Not very helpful here. Again, that's why you use more than one indicator. Stochastic does want to round, RSI is pulling back, that momentum is in bearish territory, so watch that close. If that VWAP breaks down, momentum will round away, money flow will remain red, higher time frames would break down, and we would continue lower. We did see lower highs and lower lows. They did try to make a descending channel, but that descending channel got rejected, broke down, and then we continued to tumble from there. So watch now very close, as we could make some consolidation, make a bear flag, and then that bear flag would be what would pull us back, possibly toward this consolidation range at that 919. And if we can't make a bounce there, that's where you would start that tumble down. So over on Bitcoin futures for the daily, does look like our MPP still says we have that 151k possibility, but it does also say we have 104k possibility, so we could make a lower high here. Still watch things very close. VWAP is starting to favor bearish, money flow is pulling back, momentum is favoring bearish. Overall, not looking the strongest on the daily. I would watch 1 hour very close. Over on the 1 hour, our VWAP did break bullish, but now we have a lower high, and we don't look very strong. That VWAP needs to push off this neutral and continue with a higher high. With that higher low, to help push us forward. Otherwise, if we stay in this bearish territory and we reject, momentum will break down, money flow will go from green to red, and we will continue to fall down. Remember, if we break that 93K level, then that's where we're going to start to visit that 86 to 80K range. That goes both for futures and Bitcoin. On Bitcoin, RSI is dropping, momentum is favoring bearish. We have a red dot. VWAP wants to break down, money flow is starting to pull back, so watch those lower time frames. Over on this 1 hour, our VWAP did break bullish, but we do look a little weak. We have a lower high, so watch if we get a lower low. If we get a lower low here, momentum will reject, money flow will break down, and then we would continue to break lower. We do have a lower high, so watch for a lower low. If that lower low breaks our resistance, we come up, retest resistance, and reject, then that's where we're going to continue down. But if we retested resistance and broke forward, then we could have a solid bounce forward still. That's why you want to watch that level closely. Over on graph for the daily, we do have the potential for lower highs here. We have lower lows. They don't connect well. Bearish continuation. The MPP did say there's an 80% chance of making a lower high, and it does look like we are seeing that come to fruition. So watch if we break that 20-cent area. If we do, then watch that 16.316 like we've been saying to watch. As stochastic does want to round, VWAP is starting to pull back, momentum is rounding, and money flow is pulling back. We may look at some buy positions tonight, as we may want to average down on some of our positions if the market does make its correction. Remember, you want to get your orders ahead of time because that's how they're going to get filled. Stochastic does want to round, RSI is pulling back, VWAP is rounding away, momentum is pushing down. I would watch very close. If that VWAP breaks the neutral here on anchor, then we would continue lower. Over on the 1 hour, we did just tumble through all of our support resistances and we hit that 34.85, so I would watch. If we continue to consolidate here, we could make that bear flag. That would be a pretty strong pull that could try to break that 30-cent range, and then we could 3-cent range, sorry, don't know why I always do that. We could break that 3-cent range and then push down to that 2-cent range. Stochastic does want to push forward. RSI is trying to gain strength. VWAP does want to bounce off that neutral, so that is positive. If that VWAP can continue with higher highs and higher lows, momentum will gain strength, money flow will break through, and we will make a bounce. MPP does say there's a high chance of rejecting the 37.67 though, so watch that area very closely if we do make a bounce here. Over on XRP for the daily, we did break our support resistance area. We did drop near that $2 range, so we are dropping where we've said to watch. I would say most of these patterns are all negated at this point. We'll delete this flag, as this flag's pretty much shot. It did not get created. We might have a descending triangle instead, and a descending triangle is a worse pattern to see, as like its name suggests, it will make you go down. So we may have the support line right there. That would be the candle bottoms here. You could pull it up just a little bit. Then you would measure from top to bottom. This thing's in our way, so measure from top to bottom. And that'll give you your breakdown point. That breakdown point, if we can get this to move, will pull us back to about that 166 range. So a little beyond that $2. Remember, there is a higher chance of breaking beyond that $2. I wouldn't go for the full 73 cents though. RSI is starting to pull back, money flow is starting to sell off. That VWAP does look like it is rejecting that neutral, so watch very close. If that VWAP continues to favor bearish, momentum will continue lower and money flow will break down. That will show that we have further selling pressure. Watch tomorrow for a confirmation of both a rejection from this triangle and a break of our Fibonacci zones. If we do both, then we are likely going to continue lower there. But our MPP does say there's a possibility of pushing back into our pattern, but it would be a lower high, and then we could still tumble away. Stochastic does want to round. VWAP is favoring bullish. That is positive. That is pushing momentum higher, and that can give that money flow strength if that VWAP can continue with higher highs and higher lows and get stronger waves. Right now, the waves are very short. We need them to get a bit bigger, like back here, and back here. So over on Algo for the daily, we did see the same thing here as well. So possible bearish continuation. We did reject our resistance area. We did try to fill that 40-cent range, and then we pulled back. So now we are retesting that 34 cents, and if we do not hold here and make a bounce with a slightly higher low, then that's where we're going to continue toward that 28.48 and possibly 25-cent ranges. Our stochastic does want to round, RSI is pushing down, VWAP wants to break down, momentum is rounding, and money flow is starting to sell off, so I would exercise caution. Over on the 1 hour, we do have the potential to create a bear flag. Again, if we consolidate here, we do have that big drop down. So a consolidation followed by that drop down would be what would take us down toward that 28.48. Our money flow is heavy in the red. VWAP is starting to break down. We do have very weak highs and we're starting to push down with very short waves. So if that VWAP makes a rejection, it's very likely momentum will roll over, money flow would remain red, and then we could just break down. We do have that red in the 1 hour, the 2 hours red, and the 4 hour is red. So watch for some strong red candles, and remember, if you see that across all of the market, then we could see some strong candles on most our coins. Thank you for watching tonight's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Hit the like and subscribe, and join us in the Discord.